Hey guys, welcome back to Appalachian Cemetery Hunting. We hope that every one of you all had a great and joyous Merry Christmas. Today is going to be our 6th video in the series of looking at cemeteries in the Sevier County, Tennessee area. Today we'll be looking at the Forks of River Cemetery. The earliest burial recorded on Find a Grave was in 1880. Now this cemetery is located south of Gatlinburg, just off Highway 441 in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And it's just behind the Sugar Lands Visitor Center off the park headquarters road. I'm going to give you a few seconds to look at it. To reach this cemetery from Gatlinburg, drive towards the Sugar Land Visitor Center on Highway 441 and turn right on the road leading to the park headquarters just before the visitor center. The cemetery is on the left and it's actually visible from the road. Here's 3 more pictures of the cemetery, and I'm going to give you time to look at them also. According to Find a Grave, there's about 25 graves with uninscribed stones in this cemetery. So basically just probably rock markers. And there are 63 graves listed in the cemetery. So let's get started. The first we have is Molly E. McCarter, Ashley, 1873 to 1928. Then Clifford Bohannon, November of 1895 to October of 1896, and he was only 11 months old when he passed. Now this is a strange name for me, so bear with me. Luzelthi Bohannon. I hope I did that justice. 1889 to 1898. Then we have Martha Bohannon, born and died April the 16th of 1896. And you'll notice that her headstone is a hand carved. Then we have Martha Patsy Ogle Bohannon, 1828 to 1896. Lottie Carr, we have a birth date of 1893, but no death date. And you can barely make out the birth year. So I'll pause for just a few minutes and see if you can see it. Now we have Mary Polly Whaley Cole, 1843 to 1890. And also, her headstone was carved, as you can see. Next is Andrew J. Connor, 1832 to 1887. And this picture shows his original headstone, along with a newer stone. That stone said he died in 1887. But now, according to our source on Find a Grave, this must be a gravestone placed later by a well-meaning descendant. He was alive in 1900, confirmed by the 1900 census, and was listed as a widower with 2 daughters, Sophia and Elizabeth. The same source says his name is also on a memorial marker in White Oaks Flats Cemetery in Gatlinburg, if you remember that video we did. So next we have Claude E. Connor, April of 1896 to September of 1896, only 5 months old. Next is Martha Bohannon Connor, 1855 to 1909. Roy M. Connor, he only lived for 3 months, November of 1897 to February of 1898. Then we have Samuel Connor, 1848 to 1897. Sophia Elvira Ogle Connor, 1833 to 1897. Mary Olive Owenby Evans, 1821 to 1908. Next we have Richard E. They called him Dick Evans, 1824 to 1901. And he was a minister and founded Evans Chapel Church, number 1, on October the 20th of 1883. Here's a picture of him. Then we have Elmer Husky, born and died April the 24th of 1892. Grant Husky, May of 1895 to October of 1895. He was only 5 months old. J. H. Husky, 1886 to 1897. Martha Patsy, or Marthy Whaley Husky, 1820 to 1892. Then we have R. L. Husky, 1886 to 1887, just a year old. And then we have Stephen Husky, and they called him Old Steve, 1804 to 1887. Then we have Uriah Husky, born and died on January 22nd of 1889. Then there's Elmer Kerr or Carr, 1893. Joel Kerr, December the 17th of 1883 to January 9th of 1884. And this little fella just lived for 23 days. So sad. Next we have Joel Carr or Keir, 1850 to 1926, and his wife, Mary M. Polly McCarter Keir. She was 1854 to 1937. And this is a picture of them at their home with their children and grandchildren. Next we have Sarah B., also known as Sally Huff Keir, 1809 to 1886. Audrey King, 1911 to 1927. Maddie Bohannon Lane, 1872 to 1898. Then we have Infant Maples, born and died on April the 20th of 1922. And here's a picture of her death certificate we was able to find. Though it's not the state, it doesn't state the cause of death, so we're guessing it was just probably stillborn, which happened a lot in those times. Next we have James Lacey Martin, 1818 to 1906. And here's a family photo. Now we don't know which man is James in this picture, so we're hoping that somebody out there does. Then we have Elmer Branson McCarter, December of 1896 to February of 1897. Just over 2 months old when he died. You'll notice here's another hand-carved headstone. Next is Emma McCarter, 1886 to 1895. Molly McCarter, 1904 to 1917. And according to her death certificate that we found, she died of diphtheria. Then we have Olive Evans McCarter, 1853 to 1913. Richard E. McCarter, 1852 to 1929. Winnie McCarter, October of 1896 to September of 1897, which made her 11 months old when she passed. Then we have Bruce Ogle, 1909 to 1917, and according to his death certificate, he also died of diphtheria. Then we have Charles, or Charlie, as they called him, Ogle, 1902 to 1916, and he passed away from typhoid fever. Then we have David Ogle, December of 1888 to June of 1889, only 6 months old. And here's the second time I've heard this name, Harkless H. Ogle, 1853 to 1923. I just think that's a unique name, Harkless. Next we have Hetty Owenby, 1888 to 1894. Luther Eldridge Owenby, May of 1888 to July of 1888. And he only lived for a month. Next we have Martha Whaley Owenby, 1866 to 1895. And Martha E. Owenby, 1891 to 1897. And this is another hand-carved headstone, as you can see. And look how they spelled her name, her first name, without an A on the end. Then we have Martha Ellen Reagan Owenby, 1862 to 1888. And Martha Jane Owenby, 1881 to 1886. Martha was a very popular name back then too. Okay, we have Morris Owenby, born and died January the 11th of 1920. Then we have Nicholas H. Owenby, 1812 to 1883. And we believe that this is his original grave marker in the foreground. Then we have William N. Owenby, December of 1898 to March of 1899. And he was only just over 2 months old when he passed. Next, we have Elijah Patterson, 1842 to 1890. And there is no picture of his grave. But he did serve in Company P of the 62nd North Carolina Infantry in the Confederate Army during the Civil War. And according to his prisoner of war card, he was captured at the Cumberland Gap and then transferred to Camp Douglas, Illinois prison camp, where he supposedly died in 1864. And this camp was near Chicago. But in a source on Finder Grave, they have him dying in 1890 in Townsend, Tennessee. I wonder if he was gathered with the same people who gathered my grandfather and took him there. I think this Camp Douglas was like known as bad or worse than Andersonville. Don't know. It's interesting though. Then we have, okay, here we go. Here's a new name. Arbazina or Xenia Reagan, 1876 to 1898. Next, Cynthia Jane or Cintha Whaley Reagan, 1840 to 1888. And you'll notice that she had a hand-carved headstone. And here's a picture of her. Then we have Joel Reagan, 1897 to 1898. Sarah Caroline or Carolyn Bradley Reagan, 1843 to 1886. Mary Maria Molly Bartlett Trentham, 1866 to 1900. W.R. Trentham, 1862 to 1899. Arminta E. Whaley, 1872 to 1894. And the inscription on her stone reads, "In love she lived, in peace she died. Her life was craved, God denied." This picture doesn't show her entire grave plot, but doesn't it look so peaceful? Now there's 3 people buried in this cemetery that don't have pictures of their graves, and they are Reddy Owenby, 1888 to 1894, Jane Husky Owenby Cole, 1837 to 1880, Deborah A. or Debbie McCarter Reagan, 1866 to 1897. And that's going to finish our look at the Forks of River Cemetery in Sevier County, Tennessee. Now, on another note, we'd like to apologize for not putting a video out recently. The week before Christmas has been very rough on us. If you remember on our Channel Talk video that we released just a couple of months ago, we introduced you to our dogs, Daisy and Willie, and told you how Daisy was suffering from megaesophagus, and that was one of the reasons why we couldn't go out live a lot because of her. So unfortunately, we had to make a hard decision to have her put down. She'd not eaten in 2.5 days, and she couldn't even keep water down no matter what we tried. The pneumonia came, it left and it came back, and we just know that we did the right thing because she was fixing to suffer, and I always promised I would never let her suffer. So we're at peace with that. And we know that she's not suffering anymore with this terrible condition for 1.5 years like she had been. So we're going to dedicate this video to our beloved Daisy Doodle. We love her. We miss her so much. And then, if that wasn't bad enough, we caught the flu. And just now getting over it. If you can tell by my voice may be a little lower than normal, it's because it's still in my chest. But we want to thank you guys for watching and supporting our channel throughout this past year. And hit the like, subscribe, and share. And until next time, God bless you and Happy New Year. Have a blessed 2025. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.